The pronation is for many arm wrestlers the most important arm wrestling strength. In this video, I will show you the best exercises you can do to strengthen the pronation, and I will also share with you some important tips that will help you engage your pronation better on the arm wrestling table. Before getting into the exercises, you have to understand the 3 different ways in which you can grab the belt when it comes to pronation. You can have a high grip by just grabbing the belt in your hand. You can grab it over the thumb or over the forearm. If you want me to do a video where I go in depth on the importance of these 3 methods and which one is better for which technique, let me know in the comment section below. As a general rule, you can use these 3 methods to grab the belt for every single pronation exercise, so keep that in mind. Now let's get straight into it, and the first exercise is pronation combined with back pressure. You have to understand, your pronation never really works alone on the arm wrestling table. It works together with either your back pressure or with your side pressure. As a top roller, this is one of the best exercises you can do to strengthen the coordination between the pronation and the back pressure. Usually when you do this exercise, for most arm wrestlers, the pronation will be the limiting factor and not the back pressure, which is exactly what we want. It is extremely important to start the movement with your pronation completely open up. After that, perform your regular hammer curl and pronate your hand through at the same time. At the top, hold the position for 1 second and repeat. For those of you who don't have a table and a pulley, you can do the exact same exercise with a belt attached to the weight. Let's continue with static pronation hold. Most of you know the famous Devon Lara pronation lift, which is generally a great exercise, but it has one major problem. The pressure on the pronator, it's not at its maximum when you do it like this. Many arm wrestlers consider this to be a back pressure exercise, and that for a very good reason. Because if the arm is the first link of the chain that gives up, you will not even target your pronation properly. If you want to target the pronation properly and to make it a real pronation exercise, all you have to do is to add any sort of material between your hand and the belt. By doing this, you maximize the pressure on the pronator, which is exactly what you want. I like to train this one statically, where I just pick the weight up and hold it for a few seconds. If you have never done this exercise before, you will see how humbling the weights will be when you do it for the first time. Exercise number 3 is one of the exercises I started to do recently, and it became one of my favorite pronation exercises, and that is pronation with the forearm fixed. As I already mentioned in the beginning of the video, your pronation never works alone, but that doesn't mean you cannot do exercises where your pronation is isolated. This is an easy to perform exercise where your pronation is entirely isolated from all the other muscle groups. Another great advantage of it is that you can do it in any commercial gym. You don't necessarily need a table. All you need is a surface where you can fix your forearm on. I like to grab the belt over the thumb when it comes to this exercise. It is very easy to perform. Just open your pronation up completely and pronate your hand through. I also like to hold the top position for 1 second. Usually it is very hard to target and to feel the pronation muscle, because it is a very small muscle. But when I do this exercise, the pronation is always pumped. By the way, all the equipment you see in my videos is from Golden Grip, and with my code ALEX, you will get 10% off on any purchase you make at goldengrip.com. The link is down below. I also run a giveaway right now where you have the chance to win 2 different arm wrestling handles. So stick around until the end of the video to find out more. Let's continue with the pronated side pressure. If you want to have a fully developed side pressure on the arm wrestling table and to absolutely destroy your opponent, you need to work on 3 different side pressure elements. Side pressure pec to pec, which is the ability to drag the elbow across the pad and win the center of the table, internal rotation, and also down pressure. This exercise targets mainly the ability to drag the elbow across the pad. It is very easy to perform. Just grab the belt in your hand, pull the weight sideways. The most important aspect of this exercise is to focus on maintaining the pronator throughout the entire movement. For me personally, if the pronation opens up even a little bit, the lift is failed. I know the opinions are split on this one. You have guys like Todd Hutchings who do not care whether they keep the pronator entirely or not. Their ideology is that if you pull the weight sideways, it is the same as if you pin the opponent. So who cares if you keep the pronation or not? I personally am a big believer in training clean and controlled and focusing on the muscles that I really want to target. And to be completely honest, these are the most important pronation exercises for arm wrestling. Generally speaking, you need an exercise that combines pronation with back pressure, one that combines it with side pressure, and one that isolates the pronation entirely from all the other muscle groups. That's it, so don't overcomplicate it. I know there are a lot of different handles out there, but for me personally, I find these exercises mentioned above as the most effective ones. Very soon, I'll get the barbell pronator from Golden Grip, and I am really excited to test it and to see how well it works. Many elite arm wrestlers that have a very strong pronation use a similar setup, so I'm really looking forward to it. Now, let me get into the tips that will help you engage your pronation better on the arm wrestling table. The first tip might sound obvious, but there are still many arm wrestlers that do not apply it, and that is to actively focus on the pronation when you pull on the table. For me personally, the pronation is one of my main weapons, and after every single table session, I feel my pronation extremely pumped. I cannot get that stimulus from just regular exercises. It just doesn't work. So keep that in mind and try to actively focus on the pronation. And yes, you can do this regardless of your style. As a top roller, it is obvious that you need to focus on the pronator. But also for the other techniques like hook, start focusing on the pronator more. This is actually the mistake most hookers make. They just give out the pronation and end up with those 2 minutes worth bone on bone, where none of the athlete can finish the match. Tip number 2 is to analyze exactly what your weakness is. Let me explain what I mean by that. Many of the guys I'm coaching right now, before we started working together, they told me that they have a weak pronation. But after digging deeper, we came to the conclusion that the back pressure is the weak link and not the pronation. Remember this, as a top roller, in most of the cases, your pronation is only as strong as your back pressure. You might be able to move crazy weights with the pronation isolated, but if your back pressure is not strong enough, it will not get you anywhere. I repeat myself, this is a general rule. It doesn't apply to everybody. And by the way, this is a common mistake, to assume that something is weak when in fact it isn't. So make sure you analyze exactly what your weaknesses are. And tip number 3 is more of an exercise, but I didn't want to include it to the others because this one can't really be trained as a main exercise. You have to understand, you can apply your pronation from 2 different points. First is by pronating the thumb, and second is by kicking back the supination or the bottom part of your wrist. Most of the arm wrestlers neglect the second one and they get imbalances in the forearm, which later on can lead to injuries. To fix it, you can do a simple exercise. All you have to do is to set yourself up perpendicular to the table, grab the belt over your thumb and perform your regular pronation motion. I recommend you to do this exercise as an accessory, because you will not work with heavy weights. You could of course also do it with resistance bands, which is actually even better in my opinion. These were some of the most important pronation exercises for arm wrestling. If you have any questions, write it down in the comment section below. The giveaway consists of 2 different handles, the wrist range and the opti range. All you have to do is to go down to the video description and to enter it with the link presented. With that being said, keep your eyes on this channel. Great stuff is coming.